Hey, Rebecca, Calvin Goulet-Jones here. I appreciate your email. I thought I'd rather do a video here rather than an email back. Regarding your email, I'm just going to go over it line by line with you if you don't mind. You feel like I'm being influenced by some topics a little bit too much. Now, I assume that you're referring to the firefighting topic. Now, I had planned to, talk about some other things, but then the city released this very interesting letter which kind of brought it right back into the forefront. And I really felt like I needed to defend the firefighters as far as what's going on. So it's a big topic in Red Deer right now, and it's going to be part of the entire election. But you're right, there is a lot more to talk about in Red Deer. Back in 2017, I also ran it as a candidate, and part of what I did was really focused on the financing. So I really understand and I appreciate where you are as far as taxes. Now, over the several years, I have been hard advocating for, recognizing the hardship that Red Deerians are going through tax increases. Even you can go back a couple of years ago on my Facebook page, and I was releasing reports that the city said look, we're due for a 45% tax increase compounded over the next, or maybe it was 42 over the next several years. I laid out the tax increases that the city was planning, and here we are. And so this hasn't been a surprise to me. It's been unfortunate because until you get that tax increase, so many people don't know what's going on. And one thing that I say is that people don't really want to have to pay attention to the city. They just want to trust their councillors. They want to trust that their things are being taken care of, that the roads are plowed. They want to go to work, get home. And I think that's a lot of what Red Deerians expect. So when you get a tax notice in the mail and it's 10.5% increase, $500-600 for some people, like that is outstandingly high. And I am very much with you. I am very concerned. I have 5 children. I have a lot of expenses. And I think that one of my core principles is to basically, let's fund the core services. Let's reprioritize our spending, and let's get back to the basics, really. I said on a podcast with Gabriel Beck the other day is that a hierarchy actually exists where, we can't let the first, second, third item suffer to fund the 28th. And it's not like I want to get rid of the 28th item, but at the same time, when it comes to providing 10.5% tax increases to our citizens, that's sometimes you need to look a little bit deeper. The next question or the next comment you bring up, homelessness and bringing life back downtown, making the city safer, and the programs to help people and all the houses they want to build over in Clearview. All right, so homelessness, huge issue in Red Deer. I've said a few times, right? Or I've said a few times on the podcast that I do is that I don't want my own family going downtown, and that's a problem. The vagrancy is an issue, and it's not just vagrancy. It's vagrancy when there's people that are addicted to things. There's needles and there's all that kind of stuff downtown. I do not want my family going downtown, tripping on something, or looking down a back alley. My little children looking down the back alley and seeing something that they will never be able to forget. That is an issue. And I think part of the problem that we're facing right now is that we continue to do the same thing that everyone else is doing. We need made in Red Deer solutions. I'm not a homelessness expert by any means, and I do plan to learn a lot more. I'm going to be sitting down with some people this next week or two, and to really try to learn, because I think especially right now, you recognize that, people can be 1 or 2 paychecks away from being in that same situation. But the reality is that things aren't working right now. We have to work with our province, and then we have to work with even the federal government, if need be, to solve this problem in a different way. But the reality is that downtown is unacceptable, and there's going to be no growth down there. There's going to be no businesses investing down there if this problem does not change. So as far as the homes in Clearview, this seems to be a consistent thing in the city right now, where they're really looking to push high density and to change things. The original plan for Clearview was not the 90 houses or so that they wanted to build. I was against that rezoning. I'm not against building. I am in construction. I want there to be expansion. I want there to be homes built. I want homes for people to live in and to be able to afford. But of course, when you move into an area and then all of a sudden, 10 years later, they're going to change something, it is almost a violation in a sense if there's not proper consultation. So I do think that some homes needed to go in there, but I do not think that we needed to have super high density. And I'm very much against the blanket rezoning that they were doing. I supported Gabriel Beck at the town hall greatly for the Housing Accelerator Fund. Of course, that was the fund that was pushing the 4 units as a right on every single lot. So any home in Red Deer could technically be torn down and have units put on it. I do not think that that was a good thing, especially for our heritage communities. But I very much understand your sentiment regarding the affordability. I am with you 100%. Your last point is just regarding the firefighting. And I mean, I completely support the firefighting. There's no other cities in Alberta that are doing what Red Deer is doing. We have a lack of depth of firefighters here. So if there's one big emergency, there is basically one truck on standby, and they're closing down a station 2, which is in the north end periodically, and that just it causes more pressure for all the other stations to meet their zone. And so this is an issue that hasn't just started. This has been going on for years, and the it's not like we couldn't, look into the future and see that this was going to get worse and worse. There's ideas that I have, and we can solve this issue. It's not going to cost us $3.5 million every single year. We just need to address this issue. And there's some standards that I would like to push towards as far as making sure there's 4 people to a truck, making sure that all stations are open. I think I would probably like to introduce some flex times so that there's always a 5th fireman at the busiest stations, and that way if there's another station that falls short for whatever reason, that they can change posts. But yeah, these are some great questions, and I really appreciate them, Rebecca. And I hope that you have a great day.